Okay, I gotta get this thing out. So, where were we? So, we did like some brain dumpy stuff. Bot chopped it up into this, which is sort of like, that was as far as we got. I'm trying to remember what the actual. I want this over here. Yeah, that's over there. Ooh, double check. And yes, I did in fact forget to de-anonymize y'all, but that's okay. Cool. And let's see. I'm just gonna get some notes on paper. What are things I want to talk about? What are things I want to do? It's recording right now. Oh, I want to produce our good friend prioritization. And what I want to, what's okay. So prioritization is like, this isn't going to necessarily come in order, but like the things I need to do, which is like, and like, I'll just move them around according to like how close to the top of the pile they are. The main thing I think that y'all need, and I think I am now finally in a position to provide, which is clarity about the main assignments. Specifically the tree part of the Who's It and the capstone part of the Who's It. This is the 3x3 thing that defining, assigning here in this, whatever number 4 is. Then the capstone part, which is like the actual main project, which is like the output to be done. And I think there's going to be 3 main options for you. And then, 4th is choose your own adventure if you have a better idea. So, list them. To get them out, first would be like static. Step 1 would be static website, make docs, documentation style document. So that's the idea of like, because in the part of like building the tree stuff, you're gonna kind of be doing like halfway towards building a basically it's like a static website builder, which static website is like, actually, here's a good example. So this is the documentation for OpenAI, which is the group behind GPT-4, which is the language model behind the bot. And this is a very standard looking like documentation site, platform to openai.com/docs. Docs almost always means like documentation, which is like instructions, like the manual, like the background. And it looks like this. There's like things on the side. There's like a top level, and there's like different categories and whatnot. And this is obviously towards like how to use particular software, but this could just as easily be about like some genetics or whatever your area of interest is. It's called a static website because it doesn't, every time you go to it, it's roughly the same versus like a, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, where every time you go there, there's like different things on the front page. That's a, I guess, dynamic web app. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's ways of building these things that's sort of automatic and straightforward. Here's the free mocap documentation, which is the software that I'm chief maintainer on or whatever. That I done made. It's my thing. Is there a better example somewhere? A little bit. Is it? Ooh, where was it? Anyways, so option 1 for the main capstone project will be to just sort of continue along with this sort of knowledge tree part, and then doing like the extra steps to do this part. To like actually put the, I should be writing this shit down. Step in one. Continue knowledge tree part, which I will describe. I may have described it in the last one, but who knows. Make some, I wish I could tell it not to do that because it's unnecessary. And with this one I can like change I can move them up and down, which I like. Make some kind of auto building static website via GitHub pages. If you ever see GH, it means GitHub in my world, in this context. Probably elsewhere it means different things. Gastrohedonism. Right, and so then that would be the output. So basically the option one is to, like, step one for everybody is going to be like, let's flesh out the general space of what we're interested in, and then from that generate some kind of a static artifact. And one option for the whole thing is just continue that thing and make the static artifact like a fleshed out and completed version of the original graph, original outline, original 3x3 thing, whatever. This is I don't want to specify like who it's good for and what the value is or whatever. We'll talk about that later. Capstone part, option one, static website. Build a static I'll say FOSS style docs site. FOSS is free open source software. These type of things, it's like OpenAI is not free open source software, but it's like software style. It's whatever. It's just like one of these things. It's like, and you would be doing it FOSS style because you'd be using like the auto building stuff, because it's like free open source software is like, we don't have a marketing department. We don't have like a bunch of people to put on things. So like everything is kind of like, let's just get it up there. Let's get the information out there. And we're going to put in minimal effort and then put a lot of our faith in the automatic guys. Does phone have this? How you doing? Yeah, I don't want that. I want to split to another page. And it was like I could copy paste it, but I feel like there's an automatic route. Foam, create new note, recently used. I feel like I did this last time. Where was I? This was an option. It's like that's not gonna work. Yeah. Okay. Should I be doing this in Obsidian? No, we got get it up there. Fucking focus. Okay, option two. Because the default capstone project that almost everybody else, all the other sections are going to be doing, is write a fake grant. And I've talked a little bit about this. Presumably, I don't have. I need to be eating my previous videos and then turning them into outlines. But yeah, one thing at a time. We talked a little bit about like that as a default project of like writing a fake grant. And I have mixed feelings about it, because on the one hand, it's a good project. It's a good assignment. I understand why it's the default assumption. Um, but on the other hand, I just don't like giving fake work. It's like, and that's like realistically, no offense, you are not in a position to write a real grant. Like you cannot. It is too hard. You have not been alive for long enough to be good enough at that. Like that's hard for me. It's hard for like a lot of like I regularly talk to like second and third year professors who are like, how in the shit do I write a grant? So it's like and the part I don't like about that is like when it comes time to evaluate it, it's like it's like how, is this good? It's like I mean it's good for a cartoon. Like if you draw like a cartoon picture of a dog, like is that a good picture of a dog? It's like I don't know. It's like not going to get you a grant, but like for like for like you did a good job from the context of like your experience. But yeah, so it's kind of like I just feel weird about fake work, I think is the easiest way to say it. So the other option, I guess we'll call this two because it's a kind of like two-part option, which is to like write a fake grant. And one of those fake grants will be the standard NIH R01 grant, like big grant, like $1 million 5 budget for a 5-year research program. Like that's like a big, what they call like a bread and butter research grant. Like R means research grant. O1 is like, this is the basic one. So like if I was trying to get an NIH grant to fund my research, this is the one I'd be applying for. And it's the one that like realistically, like you are not in a position to do well at, but it is a great, like, if you want to like go through the exercise of like, what would a 5-year research program look like? What would I do with $1 million? You would hire people and their money would go way less, like way, not go nearly as far as you think it will. It's like $1 million. That's like infinity dollars. It's like, I regret to inform you. That is 10 people's 100K salary for 1 year. Or 2 people's 100K salary for 5 years. Or 1 person's 100K salary and 2 people's 50K. You see the math. You see what's, but like the numbers aren't. It ain't forever. That's for dang sure. And that's not even accounting for equipment costs and overheads. Because hypothetical university, USA, would take overhead out of it. To the standard tune of, for example, 57%. So you get $1 million grant, you actually got 430. Okay. So standard, and this I think is like roughly the standard capstone project. For a heavy capstone project program. And like, you know, basically following guidelines for the specific aims page, 1 page, and the research strategy, which is 12 pages, 6 pages. I don't really know. If I can't remember. It depends on this program. Let's just say 6 to 12. What do you know? In these age of AI, the concept of a page limit as a delimiter of effort is no longer valid. Yeah. It ain't. Yeah, so like evaluation, some kind of graph math. I don't know. Because like if the basic assignment is going to be this like 3x3x3, then like, you know, to do the proper full thing, you'd have to double that in some dimension, depth or width or something, like some kind of metric we'd figure out for like when you'd be done. Because the thing about a graph, a knowledge tree, or whatever web of knowledge, which we're going to talk about, is that you can never be done. It's a thing forever. And hypothetically, if you keep on this topic and you learn the mechanism for creating the site, you can keep adding to it forever. This can become your web of knowledge. A grant, on the other hand, has specific formatting requirements and things like that. So that's sort of another like, are you a chaos human? Do you like weird, amorphous, abstract instructions, or are you a non-chaos human? Do you prefer specific instructions whereby you can evaluate whether or not you're doing the correct thing at a given time? Personality. The other option, the third option, and this was the one where I had like the aha of this, which is that the problem I have with y'all's trying to write an NHRL1 is that it is the actual version of that task is beyond your reach, no offense. So the best you could do there is like an approximation of this is what it would be like if I was 15 years further into my career and was actually had like the experience and background and training and blah 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 to complete to do my first attempt at completing this task, understanding that you typically have to write like 6 or 7 grants. Like the average funding rate for an NAHR01, it depends on the institute, is like roughly 12%, something like that, which means that if you want to get, that's like 1 in 7 or something, 1 in 8. And so, and there's not like like it's supposed to be like the good ones get the grants, and like that's kind of true, but like they're all good because they're all being written by people who have the capacity to write these grants. So mathematically, it's just like the stats are the stats. If the odds are 1 in 8, you have to submit 8 if you want to get one. So like, it's hard. Point being that it's the concept of a fake grant is a good idea, but there's no way to really do it in this also like it takes way longer than a semester, and you're definitely not taking like 4 other classes when you're doing that. Or having as active of a social life as people tend to in college. But if it's not you, it's all good. Many different paths down the tree of life. Because trees you see. So it turns out that if we are to agree that write a fake grant is a good enough idea for a I understand. I know. Ugh, what the shit? Get out of here. Come back to here. Where even are you? Why are we here? Who are you? Right click the folder title. Build project. Just make a freaking file, you fuck. There we go. Notes. Exercise. I still can't write exercise. Exercise 4. Notes.md. Planning. And then I hit this, and so now I don't have all this guy. Now I just have this guy. Oh, and we're still doing, Behold, the visual representation of a rabbit hole. This is a tree, you see. Write a fake grant. And this one I'm doing it with outline format. This one I'm doing it with like these heading levels, but it's the same. Trees is trees. So, the second form of the fake grant version of the capstone project for the capstone class is you will write yourself an NSFGRFP, which stands for National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship Project. And that is a grant aimed at early, like first year grad students, PhD students. I think it's actually grad student, MS or PhD students. And basically it's a much smaller grant. It's NSF, which NSF grants tend to be like almost universally are like simpler than NIH grants. Those tend to be smaller in terms of money. And this one is actually aimed at you. This is the grant that the government wants you to be writing, because you are presumably, like you are at the end of your undergraduate education, and this grant is for I forget the rules exactly, but your eligibility ends after you've been in grad school for a year, which I think they define as 12 months. So you actually technically can do it at the beginning of your second year, but I can't remember exactly. And I think it might actually, like, and I think the deadline would be like November of 2024. So like you could, especially, so if you're planning on going to grad school, which presumably some of you are, this could potentially actually be like, you could submit this grant. Like, you're not going to get done with it and by the end of the semester, but you would be ready to be done with it if you were to keep working on it up until the deadline, which is November 15th. It is much smaller. I have to look at the details, but I think it's 6 pages total. And there's like, I think it's like a personal statement, which is 3 pages. And that's like, your personal statement is, I'll get the details. Like, all the instructions for this is online, because these are grants. And for the NIH one, we'd probably do some cartoonized version of it. Again, I have to look at what the details are, because it's always a little bit different. It always changes a little bit. And the instructions are notoriously difficult to get from the site. It's like it's like a 258 page PDF, and it's like scattered. It's the fucking worst. And so we might have to like smooth it out a bit to make it more like palatable. And I'll look at what the other professors do in terms of like their rigid assignments of like page count and shit. Which is it's just like, it's like such a, it's just so arbitrary. It's like, I get it, but I hate it, and I'm not into it, and I wish to participate as little as possible. Yeah, so the actual assignment for the NIH part would be something like that. It's like there's a 1-page specific aims, and then there's like then there's the big research strategy part, which is either 6 or 12. I think it depends on the specific mechanism, and if it's 12, I'll make it 6 so that there's some parity between the two, whatever. But the vibes are very different, right? This one is like, you're just describing a research program. I'm going to do these things for 5 years, and then for this scientific, we must fill this gap statement. Oh my God, there's a critical barrier to progress, and only I can fill it with my magical capacities of science. The NSF GRFP, on the other hand, is much more of a like imagine this: you're like graduating from undergraduate, and you're about to start grad school. You're thinking about starting grad school, and you think you have a vague idea what you want to study. You don't know, but you may not know that you don't know, but that's okay. We support you whatever you're at. And so the personal statement is kind of the like, I want to study this for this reason kind of thing. But it's not, it's like it's 3 pages, and you're supposed to have a lot of like science in it. And this is where you do a little bit like, like I did this, and I had this experience, and I did a co-op, and I learned that cells exist, and then there was I did this thing, and then I learned a lot. Western blot is a thing. I don't know what y'all do. I'm like like, I'm not like a wetware biology person. I'm a biologist in the sense that like, well, it's the things I study are made of biology, so I guess that counts. But I haven't done like bench work. Y'all call it bench work. This stuff, right? Right? That's your thing. That's what y'all are into. I don't know. Yeah. So there's the personal statement, and then there's another part. I literally was on this website the other day, and I couldn't find And I looked like the actual description of like what the shit this stupid thing is. NSF, GRFP. I really need to stop swearing so much on the video for them students, you see. But here we are. Oh right, and I had this whole existential crisis looking at this stupid picture. Just like, speaking of AI or whatever, like AI generated images. It's like I just had like a existential crisis looking at this and like, these are real people, but if they were AI, like these are not, like their humanity is not being respected here. They're being posed by someone who's like trying to like pitch a particular vibe, and like I would actually like, it's also like, it's wild. It's like they're like, look like a good student, look like you're interested, and so you get this guy who's like, I'm writing on this thing, and then you have this looking straight at the camera. And like, she's looking up here, you're looking over there, you're looking straight at the camera. Like you're looking, hard to tell because it's like, oh no, we can't take away that artistry. Like if those were like weird finger monster simulacrums of human, like I wouldn't feel better or worse about it. Anyways, irrelevant. So here's the actual definition. And I can't remember. I did personal relevant background of future goals and graduate research plan statements. Like I have to look at the specifics. It's like a lot. So it's a lot of this type of thing where it's like a lot. Like, could you just show me a list of what the thing is? Can you give me an example? So it's 2 pages there and something. But like, give me, there we go. So this is 3 pages, and like this is 2 pages, and then there's another part that's 1 page and whatever. It totals to be about 6 pages. Plans, etc. 3 pages. And it's much more like, there is research in it. There will be citations in it. Like I think in the same way that we like maybe soften up this one, we might firm up this one, just again to kind of make somewhat like parity between these 3 options in terms of like, you know, like citations, how many citations you're going to need, which is, I'll pick a number like 20. Who gives a shit? Like there was a number in the last assignment, like in the other description I saw of like how to like make assignments for this class, and it's like, whatever, we'll hit a number. Like you know, and I know that you can put way more work into 1 citation than you would put into 20 citations. Like you and I both know that, right? Like, and if you don't know, so frustrated by the whole situation. It's like education is the most important thing. It's like, are we going to give them the tools and training they need to be successful? It's like, no. Oh, are you going to give me the tools and resources I need to teach them properly? No. Okay. Great. Well, I'll just feel bad about it. Great plan. Doop-a-doo. 3x3 things, defining there. Okay, yeah, so main thing here. Oh, so we have this. Okay. Don't worry about this tree part. I mean, that's over here, but the capstone part, actually, let's see, planning notes over here. Let's get there later. Oh, this guy is what we were looking for. Alt BB. No? That's open Blender. First of all, screencast mode, which I should have been doing anyway. Control B. Toggle primary sidebar visibility. Thank you. What is this? Oh, it's sticky and that's interesting. Oh, why don't we autosave and Control Shift P? Autosave. Toggle autosave. Thank you. Can you, now that you've been here, can you smell the AI on this text? Because I smell it. Like, it's me. I wrote it. Like, I created it. Like, I gave it the raw materials from whence this AI schlock was formed, and the content is, roughly speaking, the content that I wanted it to be, which is fine because I'm not really I don't really care about the precision of this particular data word structure that I'm blobbing at you. But can you tell? Like, I can tell, and I would assume someone else. Like it's almost a Turing test kind of thing. Like how likely you are to be fooled by it is sort of would correlate with how much experience you have with it. That's actually like my interpretation of why the Turing test is a flawed test. But that's like Turing test would be different from like your grandma or an uncontacted Amazonian tribes person versus like a person who's doing AI research. So like the concept that the human's ability to determine the difference between an AI and a human is like the determinant of whether or not the AI is conscious is like not fundamentally a flawed idea, but like the concept is still nonetheless interesting and valid. Not relevant. I do want to talk about the philosophical underpinnings of the web of belief stuff, but that's later. I mean, that's an assignment. God, I really wanted this shit to be done. It's like... Okay. So that's the basic idea, and then I need to make the actual assignment. Course dev update, that's part A. The tools are there. The philosophical underpinnings are there. Drafting your capstone outline, that's the part I'm going to want to move up. Wait, how do I do that in VS Code? I will ask the bot in the server, in my foof channel, in my general chat, and I will say /chat, tab. How do I do the thing in VS Code where I move the selected lines up? In PyCharm, it's hold down Control plus Shift, and then arrow up and or down. You'll know. PyCharm's the other IDE I use. IDE, Integrated Developer Environment. That's what VS Code is. Alt. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I grab you and I say Alt. Ooh, nice. I move you to the top. And now we see this is the problem of like specifying the name of the list. Can I do this? Oop. Preview that. No, because it's a heading, it doesn't like that. So maybe it doesn't need the ordinality at all. Course dev updates. It's like the ordinality is just in that this one was on top, so that one comes first. So then I don't actually need to label them ordinally. I can just label them with their titles. Assume context. Watch this. So I select that, and then I hit Control D, and it selects other like that, and then I hold Shift and press over, deletes them, done. I didn't shift delete, I just hit delete. I don't know, maybe I was holding shift. Anyways. Okay, so overview. This is also, this is relevant somewhat, actually. So oftentimes when you do like when I do like AI stuff, like especially like this brain dumpy stuff like I did last time, and also just to be clear, these, like, again, the 4 video ones are like optional to watch, and if you're like, well, where's the ones that don't have 4 videos, it's like, I don't need that kind of, that's like, don't, like, I'm aware I am aware that the other ones are not present. Believe me, I am not stoked about it, but here we are. What was I saying? Who am I? What are you doing? Oh yeah, AI brain dump stuff. You often get this kind of like schlop stuff. So like, it's like, and I've noticed that it tends to happen for me. I think it happens because often when I'm doing the recordings, I'll start with like a little preamble of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I think that the transcription, whatever stuff, like, it doesn't handle that stuff right. So part of what I'm like learning with these things is like, don't explain to them, like, don't give them, like keep them anemic is the term that you hear a lot. It's like in software, it's like, don't tell them any more than they need to know to do the task, because it's hard enough for them. Great. But now those wires are twisted, but that's fine. Overview is not helpful, I think, in this context. It's a short document anyways, and each additional piece of text is visual complexity that's going to make it harder for you to scan for the meaningful information. Course dev update. I should do that. So my hope is that by doing this kind of like preparatory work to get these chunks small enough, I can hit each one as an individual video, and so those videos will be short. Because I don't want to have to like I don't want you to have to like sift through long videos to get the meaningful stuff, and I don't want to have to go through the work of like writing it up with sufficient clarity that like you don't need the video. Okay, so main thing is there. This is like assignment. I'm giving you an assignment. I'm putting my foot down, saying do a thing. Exercise remains, that's the wrong word. It's really like section. Assignment. I'll tag it. Assignment. You see I'm yelling. It's a tag. Tag that. Ooh, discuss Discord as a collaborative text editor tool. Course dev updates. Share details. Here we are. About the structure of the actual. Watch this. You're going to like this part. Capstone project. So we've already written that other document. It's kind of sloppy, but it's there. And like so now we want to be able to link this to that. So like Wikipedia, you've seen Wikipedia. You know Wikipedia, greatest intellectual achievement of humankind, Wikipedia. We've seen it, right? The most comprehensive and vast repository of human knowledge ever created, Wikipedia. We've heard of it, right? If anyone ever tells you it's not good, that person just like has their own opinion, and we don't have to respect it. Actually, they're straight fucking wrong. It's like not the only thing. It's not like don't like use it for everything, but as a stopping point, yeah. Where else would you start? Why else would you start anywhere but Wikipedia? Maybe Scholarpedia, which is like the same thing but like peer reviewed, and it's like minuscule fractions of the coverage. Like, anyways, so this vibe here, where there's like links inside of it. Oh, if you're wondering why everything's dark, it's because I use this dark leader thing because I don't want it. Like, look at my face. That's why. That's why. That's why. It's an extension. This is Firefox. So this vibe here, yeah, sure, why not? This sort of thing, this style here, where like when you hit like a jargon, like a piece, when you say a word that has its own page, it is a link to that page. And so you can bounce around in here, and every time you do that, you're jumping from one node to another, and you can go as far in or out as you want, like, you know, saltatory conduction. Like, great. That sounds like a thing that I don't know about. And like, great. What's a, you know, like, great. Who's that? Sensory organs, like this touch. Great. This is a knowledge base. This is a connected graph. Graph is like connected dots. You can imagine it. Oh, and so now we got this thing. Why aren't you autosaving? You Vondruk. Save. Auto delay, code actions on save, format on save, all in focus change. Format on save, save everything. Autosave workspace files. Why didn't you do that? Code actions on save, also modifying controls autosave. See, that's another, like, the word autosave links to the docs site on autosave, or somewhere down here anyways. This is another like static docs page, right? Again, you could imagine, like, what would your category be? What would your headings be? What would your getting started page look like to introduce someone to this topic, what you've chosen as your capstone? I don't know why I'm like picking up this like sarcastic tone. I think it's because it's later than I want it to be. Why did not you autosave? I am confused and upset. Right. So here I am. I'm writing this document, this piece of markdown file, and I'm writing this thing, and I reference. I go, oh, I actually wrote a page for that. So what I can do is we'll see if this works. Yeah. Is it 1 or 2? Oh, it's 2. See, because if it's 1, nothing happens. If it's 2, oh, this is the thing. If I select the word and I do like parentheses, it's smart enough to put around it. If you do like curly brackets, if you do like square brackets, if you do like quotes, if you do like single quotes, if you do like backticks, this is why we use this is why we use things like VS Code with Markdown and not some bullshit like Google Docs, because you don't get that unless you do, in which case I still hate them. It's because those types of operations are so common when you're writing like software that they just made them primitives. Anyways, so I select that. I go square bracket. Nope, those are curly brackets. Ooh. Square brackets, and then another square brackets, and it's like, oh, look, something's changed. That's how you know something's changed. And if I click it, oh, that's how I did it. Gotcha. You put it there first. Okay. Yes, I am here learning how to do the thing what I've assigned you to do, but it's really, I'm learning shortcuts to it. And I can link to it. Is that right? Oh, actually, okay. Yeah, so standard links, markdown links is that. So if I do that and I do google.com, then this will take me to, well, you won't, but like, oh no, it's like https dot. Then that will take me to google.com. Hooray. This is a link to the web, but it could also be a link to some other file. And we'll see how much it's going to help me out here. But the guy I want to link to is this one up here, which is exercise. You can autocomplete. You are. Thank you, my dear. Exercise notes. Save. And now if I click this guy, it goes to that guy. Now, of course, this is not, there's all sorts of problems here because these are like sloppy notes and this is the thing there. And clearly I want to have like just like a whole page that's defining what the capstone project is. But I can clean that up. And then here, it's like, it allows me to have like a terse bullet point that sort of like hides a lot of complexity. Because if I had taken all of this and put it here, it would distract from like the main point of this particular document. So we link to it, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, anyways, and then again, this is the raw format. This is the formatted view. If we close this and we're just looking at it, and we say either click on this or just click on this as the preview. That's the machine, or go to the whatever or something. I need to make a video of me like showing here's how to use these things, because like I don't expect you to know. And also, if you don't want to use it and you just want to do stuff sort of equivalently in Google Docs, go to town. We'll figure out the actual assignment stuff. Okay, in the assignment, okay, what am I doing right now? It is almost 7 o'clock. This video is almost 45 minutes fucking long because I can't make a short video to save my life. I feel actually some degree of, I have like made progress like this. I got this on paper for the first time. Also, all the ones looking at raw, like if you look at it formatted, it does the counting for you, blah, 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 allows you to move stuff around, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, and then this is not real. This is like, I think this is more botchlock. Oh, right. And this was the other thing I wanted to say. So I mentioned at some point that I thought that there might be, like, when you're having a conversation in a category in a channel, the prompts that are used, the prompt that the bot uses is composed of the prompt for that channel as well as the prompt for the full server. The full server prompt is rather lengthy and has a lot of conversation about like, hey bot, you're a teaching assistant and you should follow these vibes and here's what we're doing in this class and blah, blah, blah. And I said that like in the process of trying to like use the bot as a tool, those prompts might get in the way and it might make it do kind of like stuff that's like performative teacheriness because we told it that it's a teaching assistant. I think that this is an example of that. Because I was trying, like, it's possible I just said something in, where is it? It was in here somewhere. 5 messages, 14 messages. I feel like it was the last thing I did. So yeah, it's this stuff. So it's possible that like, help me flesh out this. Oh, I was building an outline kind of thing. So it's possible that like something in the language made it think that this would be the appropriate thing to say. It's also possible that it was like the language of the transcript, the language of whatever request I made caused it to did this like weird bullet point here. It's also possible that it did that because of the global prompt of this server of like, hey, you're a teaching assistant. And the correct technical solution is that it shouldn't be that way. And there should be a way in this chat interface to not use the server prompting stuff, and so you could just have like a raw conversation. But let's pretend that I'm not the guy that wrote this or read this code, or if I were, perhaps imagine a world where like I just can't right now. So the other solution is just like, oh, I see, I don't like that, I'm gonna delete it. Let me tell you, as a developer, that's so much less work for me. In the fullness of time. And now look at this tree. Look how pretty she is. She is concise. She has wee sections. There is a coherence and a clarity. I don't love this guy sticking out here. I might prune him off, or I might. Ooh. Yeah. What are you doing? Oh, this one. Huh? This would be a place where it's like I might want to. Same thing again. Where were we last time? Ooh. I might. Is this 4? I guess technically it's 4. We're using the term assignment again. Who cares? What? I do. What's the other guy? Who'd you do the what's to? Experiment. Exercise 3. Content. Exercise 3. Content. Student instructions. Sure. I can see why I would say that, or why the bot would say that. I can't remember who wrote that text, to be honest. Look at this tree. Look how complex it is. Look at all the detail to it. Look at this code block, and look at this, frankly, inappropriate little heading there. That's not right. Like, we clean that up, but I ain't gonna. I'm just gonna look at the format, and I'm gonna follow the pattern, because I don't want to think I'm tired. So we're calling it exercise 3. Exercise 3, exercise 4, exercise 4. What do I call this? Video 2. I guess this would be video 3 exercise? Who gives a shit? Okay, moving on. Content outline. Though this is, content outline is fine. Planning notes is fine. This is not actually pulling any weight here. Looking at this tree, right? Look, see how this is an ugly tree? See how it's like floopy? Like it's imbalanced? It does not make my heart sing. In fact, it makes me say words like floopy, which is never beneficial. Is it possible for me to make a video shorter than an hour? Unclear. Empirically, it appears to be quite difficult. Theatrical exasperation sounds. Okay, but looking at this floopy nonsense, also noticing that when I wanted to link it from the other place, it wanted to be named Capstone Project. Like that's the natural development of this document. When clever human primate John Mathis said to myself, aha, I would like to link to that information what I've done dumped in the other place. It happened under the tag Capstone Project. So what do? We go back and we prune. Proliferate and prune. This is how neurodevelopment works. This is how trees work. Proliferate and prune. Is that a Googleable term? Proliferate and prune. Prune. Neurodevelopment. After this period of rapid proliferation, that gets up, as you can see. Have fun. Go to town. Dive in. Dive deep, my child, and tell me what you find. Prune. Planning notes, right? So this part isn't adding anything, and it's already written in greater detail elsewhere by. This is clearly not pulling its weight by. And we still feel a little imbalanced, but it's better. And mostly it's because it's a 2, but I think it's actually a 3. I think there's the distinction, because when there's only 3, having it between like 1, 2A, and 2B, it's not really adding very much, and it's making the tree ugly. So really, like there's enough of a difference. These two are different enough that grouping them together isn't really doing much benefit. And I can do, I think, Control X, haha, and delete the whole line. Too powerful. Too powerful, they say. Believe in yourself. And then I hold shift down, 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 and I say shift tab. Oh, and now you see. And now you see. E. See, it's kind of, there's an interesting thing happening here, which is like a part of the big teaching moment of this semi-structured blob of information, what I'm sending to you, which is like, there's a distinct, like, I'm sort of flipping back and forth between considering the content of the text that I'm generating and considering the structure of the text that I'm generating. And some of the decisions I'm making are purely on structure, right? The NIH1 big grant, it's like, yeah, I think this is structurally prettier. I don't know. I kind of regret, these ones look weird to me. So what I do is I select one of them and I hit Control D, which doesn't know the name of that, but it's like select the matching text pattern. Now you are bullets. Thank you. And what about these twos, you say? Well, don't worry about these twos, I say. That up. Control D to D to D to D to D. And now you indeed are also these dottos. And that's the tree view, which uses mark map, which is you hit these squares and you type mark map. And you, not this one, it's this one, the one with the pointies without the blobbies. And you click some and you say enable. And then once you do that and you hit Control Shift P and you hit developer reload window to reload the window, you see, and then it does the reload of the window, because secretly VS Code, like everything else in your freaking life, is secretly Electron under the hood, which is secretly Chromium under the hood, which is secretly the browser, which is the same across all, like, everyone in the world uses the browser, and then that's why you can reload it. It's the same thing as reloading a web page. Also, just for fun, Control Shift I. Did you know about this? Did you know about it? Did I tell you about it already? Is it already there? Have you Googled it? Did you ask the machine? Wait. Network, and then I see, check this out, I click reload and it's like, oh, it's just that. Give me a bigger website. I don't have a Facebook. What's a complicated website? Yahoo? Has anyone ever gone to yahoo.com? See, look at the stuff that happened in this order. This is like the depth here. It's like, why are we not being trained to use this tool that is literally at everybody's fingertips at all time? I don't know. See, now these structurally, like, this is a nice tag, this is a nice tag. It's an acronym, it's a raw acronym, which is illegal in science land. It is an acronym I have not defined, so it's illegal. I've broken the rules, but it's fine. Capstone part, and I'm also going to convert this from the outline view. Oh, I've ruined everything. So instead of using like the nested nature of the outline, I'm going to switch it to the headline. Okay, rules are single heading capstone. What do we call it? Project? We call it project. Project options. I don't know, man. Okay, and noticing too that like this is not like building properly because it's tabbed in, so it doesn't notice it as bullet points because there's the space here. It treats it as a code block, which is interesting. So if I select the whole thing and shift tab over, now it's that, because it's touching the left side. And so 2 hashtags is an H2 heading. Switch back to the tree view by clicking the little pointy guy. Oh, all busted up, you see. The main one is static docs. Now, FOSS. I call it FOSS style docs because I'm trying to secretly make y'all think that like free open source software development is cool and makes you powerful and cool, because the world is burning and I need all hands on deck, and these are the skills, these are the tools, says me. Not all the tools, but we're gonna need some hands. There's some of them seizing something of production something. I would never say that. I would actually. I feel. Remember when I was in college and it's just like I would see people do stuff and it's just like, how in God's green earth can somebody get that good at something? Turns out the answer is the same answer as everything. It's just time on task, iterations, attempts, and the weird thing is like it doesn't even register for me. It's just like, why aren't you tabbing over? Oh, weird. Do you not? Oh, just didn't notice it maybe? Weird. Yeah. So this is so the rule is you get one H1 heading, that's the title, and it should match. So this is project. I'm just going to call it that, the simple one. Control save. This is now illegal. Save. Why aren't you auto-saving, you bastard? Right click. Oh, click open. Close all. And so this is illegal because this does not match the title. They don't have to match exactly because you're not supposed to use white space in titles and things like that. But exercise 4 planning notes doesn't want to be that. You guys are used to extracting very small amounts of information from long, rambly professor talks. That is the assignment. That is the baseline assumption of this interaction. I don't like it. I don't know if you like it, but if you do, you are just entitled to your opinion, and I do not. It is not my job to dictate your opinions on things. But I'm saying I'm not happy about that as a basic method. I wish I could do better. I do not have the resources to do much more than I am doing. I am already reaching beyond my requirements. I don't know. And it's just frustrating because it's like, I know I could do a shittier job and you would have a smoother experience, but here we are. Da 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 da. But links at least. You can Google these phrases and ask the machine. Both of these have been around for so long that the bot will probably tell you exactly what the rules are. I say, and then realize that I should just do that, see what it says. And you capstone foof. I'm over here in foof. What are the, don't need to yell, specific requirements of the NSF GRFP? I'll bet it'll know what I mean. What even is that? Like NSH, it's like, yeah, it got right. Oh yeah, there's like a citizenship requirement, but it's like not, so like just so you know, like if you were not an American citizen, it's like a lot of federal, what are the rules? It's like you may or may not actually be eligible for this grant, but that's not relevant to this course. It's just relevant to whether or not you would actually be able to like hypothetically like use it as a baseline for the future. What are the like page counts and docs and like subcomponents and whatnot? We had not. Yeah, okay, there it is. That's it? I thought there was more. That's only 5 pages, which is not enough, I think, for this context. But because I don't know if y'all have gotten to the point in your lives and careers where you realize that short documents are so much harder to write than long documents. Like, I remember, like when you're in school, it's like, oh, it's a 10-page paper. Oh, it's a 20-page paper. And you're like, 20 pages? That's twice as much as 10 pages. It's like, oh, my God. To have more space. I say referencing the timer on the bottom of the recorder. So, yeah, we'll fluff that out or bump it up or whatever. Because, like, generate, especially, like, as your... Because it's like, I think when you're an undergrad or whatever, when you're in student mode, when you haven't been alive for very long, or when you have been alive for some ratio of small whole numbers of my own life, it's like you don't have that much background information because you're like new to the thing, and like even 4 or 5 years in, like you're new to this field, whatever field it is, you're new to it. And so because your background knowledge is like relatively thin, like writing a paper, like filling a document, that's a challenge. And so like filling 10 pages is half as much as filling 20 pages. And since you're trying to fill your capacity, that's challenging. As your sort of understanding of the area gets bigger, the hard part becomes deciding which of those parts should make it into the final document. That's the hard part. So I know any grant I want to write, any paper I want to write, believe me, I know more than 20 pages about that. Like have you heard me talk about anything? This, and like, I haven't even talked about the things that I know the most about. So if someone comes up to me and says, hey, write a 3-page paper, it's like, oh, okay. Well, first thing I got to do is like do some like hardcore strategizing about like what's going to be in those 3 pages. Because I'm going to have to be, it's like the bucket is very large, but I have to pull out just the best little thimble because that's going to be the thing that decides whether or not I get money. And I do like money because money allows me to do things. And by do things, I mean hire people and pay them for their labor so that we can do better things together than I can do on my own. Collaboration. Or whatever. Actually, that's not collaboration. That's like employment. Anyways. Yeah, transcripts and reference letters, definitely not. Stupid. Okay, pump that up so it's good. Assignment to give as a capstone assignment. Like same basic structure as the GRFP, but more researchy and with more spots for like citations and stuff. I'm not going to use what it says. I'm just curious what it's going to say. But it's probably going to fucking nail it. Detailed research proposal. Okay, that's interesting, actually. It's such a good idea what it has just done. Is it pretty much just did the thing I said. It's like, oh yeah, pump it up. It turned it into, fuck me. I didn't even tell it to do this. And it automatically, naturally did the thing that I was saying I might do, which is like, it kind of made it it blended it with RO1 structure. Executive summary, the 1-page thing, that's the specific games page. That is a feature of an RO1. personal statement and research vision, that's the kind of the vibe of the GRFP. It's much more of a personal statement and a research vision. And then detailed project proposal is kind of like a fluffed out version of the 12-page research strategy of an R01. And then it says, yeah, like bibliography references and like appendices if we don't need that. And then like this other stuff, is sort of optional and fine. It's like I had to figure out what I wanted to ask it for it to tell me. Like, it's not like it was like, it's weird that it's not weird. Of course, it's such a basic thing. Like, there have been thousands upon thousands and tens of thousands of these exact grants being written and published for the past 50 or 60 years. And ever since there was the internet, people have been talking about it online. Teachers have been assigning things related to that online. The depth of knowledge this machine is pulling from is obviously sufficient to complete this pretty basic task I gave to it. It's just weird to watch. Okay, anyways, that's clearly all I can do on this particular Monday night. I'm going to push it forward. I'm going to put this video up. Mea culpa. I apologize. I'll get the assignment. I can probably start. I really want to start just like chipping away at it. And I really want to get you guys to the position where you can start doing the work, chugging along, making the thing do the thing. And I don't feel like I've gotten you there yet. Or I feel like I've gotten you there, but you're like all standing on the edge of the diving board, like I'm not sure what to do, and I need an assignment with a deadline to kind of like push you over the edge, because you have, I like the undergraduate, like the standard educational system, I think doesn't teach like it teaches you to sit around and wait for instructions. And it teaches you that like the value of the class work is going to be defined according to like the assignments that are given. And even if I dangle all the meat in the world in front of you, you've been traumatized against making your own decisions, because you probably had experiences in your past where you tried to make your own decision and were punished for it. And I, as professor of this particular class, am competing against all the other shit in your life, which likely includes other classes where people are using the more traditional modes of motivation, which is if you don't get started now, you're going to fail. Compete against each other like Thunderdome. It's okay. I mean, it's not, but it is the situation. And I don't have a solution for it, but I think I can. At this point, I'm starting to feel I could start chipping. And I could just like record this one. I could bang this one out. Like I want the actual contentful ones to be like 10 minutes. And I know, and I could do it if I planned ahead. And I did plan ahead. So I just got to do it. And I think if I shoot for 10, I might hit 20. And if I hit 20 enough times, I might hit 15, and so on and so forth. There's just, everything touches so much though. Drafting your outline. Building your tree. That's what we're calling it. Remember? We're being cute about it. And I'll give a little example of that. Oh, and I did want to do this. Show examples of the contentful output. Because I think that actually it's informative, especially the last time, because I get better at this every time I do it, if you can believe that. Oh, dearie me. 115. Great. So I have to put this one up. Oh fuck, it's been chunked out, hasn't it? Oh dear. I think these are in 20-minute increments, which is I have to pull it together. Anyway, bye.